I'm Mark Laframboise. I'm the chief book buyer here at Politics and Prose.
And I'm Lissa Muscatine. I'm co-owner of Politics and Prose, and these are our nonfiction picks for 2015. So along with our holiday newsletter and our top 10 holiday picks, we also have done a fun display the last couple weeks that is our must-reads for presidential candidates. And the idea is not to recommend classics necessarily that everyone's heard of, but to recommend books that, given the times that we live in and events in the world, every presidential candidate should read, not to mention every American. So I think the book that I would put in that category and really emphasize that every American should read is Ta-Nehisi Coates' Between the World and Me, which, of course, just won the National Book Award this week. He himself is a winner of a MacArthur Grant this year. He's the, I believe, national correspondent is his title for the Atlantic magazine. And he'd written a previous memoir about growing up in Baltimore. He's the son of a Black Panther Party star and a mother, and it was a very, very literate household a household that emphasized political education a lot. And so he wrote a memoir earlier on about that. But this book is so poignant right now, given all of the stress and tension over racial issues in this country, police shootings and protests and everything else. And it's written as a letter to his 15-year-old son. And it's really about his experiences as a black man in this country and his admonitions to his son. And more than any book I've ever read, it really explains the root of black rage as being black fear, and in historical context. He's such a great writer. There's resignation in his voice, there's anger in his voice, there is some hope in his voice, there's tremendous resilience in his voice, and it is probably the most important book for any American to read right this minute.
They're considering Coates to be the next James Baldwin, and which is a heavy mantle to wear, but I think he's bearing up under it pretty well.
I'm very partial to the prize because I know the author quite well. She and I actually were in college together, and she's been a friend for many years, but even hugely objectively, which I really try hard to be when we deliberate about these books. This is just another book that's very, very important for anyone who wants to understand why we have a racial chasm today, why there is tension over race, why there's such enormous income inequality in this country, and really what the ramifications are. And it's an amazing feat of journalism and writing. It's the best of narrative journalism I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, Susan, our events coordinator, is in love with this book, and it's about altruism and people going out of their way to help other people. The title refers to what do people do when you see a stranger drowning? Do you risk your own life and dive in and try to help them, or do you hope that somebody else will be the savior that day and go out and do it? But it's passionately written and just a very enthralling subject and enthralling writing.
I haven't read it either. I can't wait to. But those on our staff who have said that it's one of these books that you don't think you're going to like. You pick up, you think you're going to put down. You're not that enthralled with the subject, but you can't put it down. It's just so compelling and gripping in the way that Larissa McFarquhar approaches this subject. So we were really thrilled that so many on our staff felt so very passionately about it.
Sally Mann read here, and we all stuck around. Many of us stuck around just because, well, it was Sally Mann. And then when we met her, realized we had just met probably the coolest person we were ever likely to meet in our lives, because she is just a very, very cool person. And her book is extraordinarily intelligent and very, very funny. She talks about her own upbringing, her own rural upbringing, and how she, became a great artist, and then also dealing with all the controversies that her own work has engendered. But she's always fresh, always funny, and always original. I mean, that's what you kind of love about her.
You know, it's interesting because memoir is such a hard genre to pull off, and you can almost count on one hand the truly great memoirs, and I think this is going to be on that hand of 5 or 6, 2 hands maybe, but clearly a masterpiece, and it's probably going to be a classic.
Thunder and Lightning's about the weather. It's a big, beautiful, graphic story about the weather. The science of the weather, the mythology of the weather, the way whether we're talking about being under a black cloud and how it's entered into our imagination and even into our language. So it really does tackle the weather in all of its myriad ways that it enters our lives.
No, and we really wanted to have a graphic work in the mix because it's a genre that is so popular and that people find engaging in new and different ways. And this book is just stunning. It's just a stunning and wonderful example, again, of sort of graphic narrative work. So we highly recommend it as well.